The Jean Grey Phoenix has entered the Secret Sanctuary. She's green. Hey guys, if you had told me even 36 hours ago that I would be standing here reviewing a green Jean Grey Phoenix, I would have told you were out of your mind. But that's the great thing about Sideshow's Spooktacular, is you never know what they're going to offer, and you never know what's going to show up at your doorstep 24 hours later. So here we are. Let me say a few things about Jean Grey, and then we'll jump into the statue. Jean Grey first appeared in X-Men Comics #1. She's an original member of the X-Men. That's way back in September of 1963. She was probably at that point the weakest member of the team. Flash forward to the late 70s, John Byrne takes over X-Men, and suddenly we have the Phoenix Saga in X-Men 101 to 108. And in those issues, Jean Grey went from not only changing names from Marvel Girl to Phoenix, but she goes from being, as I said, probably the weakest member of the team to the strongest. So it's an epic storyline that anyone that's read comics for a while is very familiar with. I think it was a benchmark at that time in comics, one of those events that we always remember, and is probably the reason why most of us bought either Dark Phoenix or jumped on this one when it became available yesterday morning. So she's a very prominent character in the Marvel Universe. She's holds a special place in a lot of collectors' hearts, and it's a pretty nifty statue, I have to say. A lot of you are going to be familiar with most things I'm going to have to say about this statue because you may already have the Dark Phoenix version, which came out, a year ago? That statue, there were 2,500 of the exclusive. There are 4,000 of the collector edition. I don't know, no one knows except for Sideshow how many of those collector's editions have sold, but all 2,500 of the exclusives are long gone. So yesterday morning, they offered this. This is a variant of that statue, and it has an edition size of only 300, which is surprisingly small, and maybe the reason why it sold out in 4 hours. A lot of people jumped on it, maybe to resell. They could be flipping it. There's already 3 on eBay, 2 being offered at $850. I'm sorry, 1 being offered at $850, 2 being offered at $1,000, with no takers. That's the key. But anyway, the statue, thankfully, arrived, I believe, flawless. With the Dark Phoenix statue, some people had problems with the tips of the flames snapping off, or problems with the hair parts snapping off. But I don't believe I have any of those problems. I think I'm all good, which is great. I'm really happy about that. The shade of green, I think, is really good. It's one of the problems that I have with my statues, and my wife has mentioned the same thing, is that they tend to be rather dark. You know, I've got the Batman PF, I've got XM's Cable, I've got Huntress, I've got Batgirl. So there's kind of a darkness about the room, which is only broken up by the Superman PF from Sideshow, and now this lady, which is quite bright and lively, which I really like. It comes in 4 pieces: the base, the figure, the portrait, and then this sash. That's it. So it's a real quick setup with no problems. I received number 20 out of the 300, a nice low number, as if that means anything, but it seems cool. And I'm really excited about the statue. I wasn't quite sure if I would be. I'm not necessarily an X-Men collector. I do intend to buy the new Wolverine PF from Sideshow, which I think is a brilliant sculpt. Really, really nice. A good example of how paint can bring a statue alive. That statue was at San Diego this year, unpainted, and was pretty much ignored. People really weren't paying attention to it at all. But then it shows up at a later show fully painted, and oh my God, everyone freaked out, rightly so, because it's a beautiful statue, really cool. So, spin it around a little bit for you. People are often concerned about leaning with this statue. I'm not sure if they're worried about it leaning forward because it already has sort of a forward lean, or if they're worried about a left-right lean, which some of these seem to have. It's a unique statue in the way that it's set up with the one leg anchoring into the flames and the forward motion. She can appear, like if you look at her from this angle, she might appear, does she feel like she's tipped a little bit more towards me, maybe? But I think, I don't think that's an unintended lean. I think the body's leaning a little bit, but the upper body in portrait seems straight and appropriate. I'll give you another turn here. And I'm going to give you some close-ups pretty quick. Okay, but first I want to talk about a few problems I have with the concept of this particular variant. This is supposed to be the Jean Grey Phoenix. This is not Dark Phoenix. So it's kind of incongruous to have her in the flames, in the flaming phoenix bird. I would have preferred if they had changed it to maybe a water colored and shaped phoenix. I think that would have been really cool for a variant, and it would make more sense with this character because we see her on the cover of X-Men 101 rising out of the ocean as Phoenix. And so to have this as water would have been really cool. It would have been great. The other problem is the portrait, which I will start by saying is a beautiful portrait, no doubt about it. But this is the Dark Phoenix portrait. If you look at the Sideshow listing for Dark Phoenix, the exclusive portrait, the other one with the eyes and with the hair more down, is listed as the Jean Grey portrait. So if you're going to do a Jean Grey green Phoenix statue, then I would prefer myself the Jean Grey portrait. Now, in another sense, it works almost as a thank you to the people who spent the money and made the effort to buy the Dark Phoenix exclusive, because now they have the opportunity to use both portraits from that statue. They can use the Dark Phoenix statue or Dark Phoenix portrait on their Dark Phoenix statue and use their Jean Grey portrait on this one, which is a great benefit to the people who have that statue. But for people like me who don't have that statue, it's a little disappointing. I'm very big on eyes in statues. For example, Sideshow's Batwoman that recently went up for pre-order. Really cool statue. I saw it in San Diego. Really nice. But I'm bothered a little bit. I know that it's true to the comics that she have the white over her eyes like this. But to me, it doesn't draw me into the character as much to have her hidden that way. So I prefer to see a character's eyes in a statue. I find that I get drawn into the statue and to the story of what's happening more if I can see that. So those are some slight disappointments. So what I'm going to imagine is happening here, and the only thing that in my mind makes sense for this statue to exist as it is that she's transforming. This is the moment where she's transforming from Phoenix to Dark Phoenix. And so we have the orangish, reddish, fire-ish Phoenix that she's rising out of. Her hair is starting to rise up dramatically, and we have the white eyes. So I think we're seconds away from Dark Phoenix at this point. So in that sense, it's not necessarily a true Jean Grey statue or a Phoenix statue. it's kind of on the cusp between Phoenix and Dark Phoenix because we have these Dark Phoenix elements that are included in the statue. Okay, maybe I should shut up and give you some close-ups. All right, let's start at the base. Nothing new here. This is exactly what we saw with Dark Phoenix. Say hello to Groot. Really well done. Nicely painted. I like the accents. And then we will go up. Very classy gold color. And then green. I really like the position of her hands. It just evokes power. Good six-pack there. And there she is. Really nice portrait. And it also lends some credence to my thought that this is kind of the moments before she becomes Dark Phoenix, because she's very calm here, but clearly there's a lot of power building up and something is about to happen. That's what I get out of this. And I'm gonna spin her around. Actually, first I'll show you from the side. So if you don't have the Dark Phoenix, you can get an idea that she does lean forward a bit, much like the Captain Marvel statue. Kind of a unique pose for those two pieces. Lots of detail on the hair. One thing I will say about the hair, and I have never experienced this with a piece from Sideshow, there's a bit of an odor. I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's the paint, but there's a bit of an odor there. No surprises though. I don't see any overspray or any problems whatsoever. Really a top-notch piece. Okay guys, I think anyone who's ordered this is going to be really happy with it. I'm really curious to know how many folks that ordered this already have the Dark Phoenix statue. I'd like to hear from some of them, have them compare and contrast the two. As far as I know, the only differences are the green instead of the red and this black border around the chest insignia. As far as I know, everything else is identical, but I would like to hear from some people who own both statues if they see any other subtle differences. One good thing, if my statue is any indication, is that the quality control is really, really high on this, which is what we've seen on several of the new pieces from Sideshow. There were problems, I understand, with the Dark Phoenix that I mentioned earlier, with the hair maybe being broken, tips of the Phoenix being broken, and maybe some people think about some sloppy paint. So that was a problem too. I'm completely happy with the quality control on this piece. So I really want to thank Sideshow. I think this was a really exciting event. You know, here we are Monday morning. I'm at work, 9 o'clock in the morning, and bam, green, jean gray, Phoenix. I mean, what the hell? How'd that happen? And here I am, 5 o'clock the next day doing this review. So I find that really cool, really exciting. Good job, Sideshow. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please subscribe, and I will see you on the boards. I'll see you on Facebook. Have a great night. She's green. Check it out.